Well, how's it going, Kingston? Welcome back to another Napoleonic Total War 3 battle. This is the mod for Napoleon Total War, and if you're new to this channel, or this mod in more particular, go check it out. Like I said, it is Napoleonic Total War 3, NTW3. You can Google it. It pops up pretty fast using ModDB. Check it out for yourself. An amazing mod. Today, we have another clan battle. Now, this is the RC versus Rheinbund, I believe. I may be mistaken. I was trying to find the names. I'm pretty sure Rheinbund versus RC. And this one is another 4v4. Now, I cannot remember now who was on which side. And the results I will find out. But the coalition, I believe, was taken by Rheinbund. I'm pretty sure Rheinbund took the coalition, but the coalition is bringing the corps, so I believe this is 4th coalition corps. Yell at me in the comments if I'm wrong. Now, I just don't do a lot of research on these. I'm not gonna lie, I'm a little lazy. Sometimes I just pull it up and I'm like, oh, cool, and I just go and record it. But you can see there is an 11-pointer as Prussia bringing a lot of heavy cav, a lot of Cuirassiers. They are, of course, going to be followed up by Constantin with the masses of infantry. And, of course, they have some cavalry of their own as well. Russia's actually a fun corps to play. You have Bagration, and then in the far right, you have Dieux. Going against them, of course, are the French. There is a Saxon player, though. I believe it's Saxony. Yell at me in the comments again if I'm wrong, but I think that's Saxony. But they, of course, are on this left flank facing off against the 9-pointer. The rest of the French kind of spread out at the moment. You can see 3 armies interspersed, 2 on the right, 2 on the left. And, of course, an LOC on this flank for Russia has been taken. He has some dragoons kind of skirting around the flanks. I don't know if he has any light cav for scouting. No, he just has Cuirassiers and dragoons. So I'm assuming one of his allies may have light cav for scouting. Although, man, do they really have any light cav? Prussia has 1 hussar. No, they have 2 hussars. Yeah. Okay, so there is not a lot of light cav for the coalition, which, that could be an okay thing depending on the strategy, but I would immediately, now, of course, disclaimer, I'm not trying to, say the players don't know how to bring armies, and, I'm not saying they should have brought light cav, but usually you want light cav for scouting. Maybe the corps didn't give you a lot of options for light cav. Some corps just don't give you options for various things, because it just wasn't a thing in that corps. Light cav may not have been a thing for any of these Russian factions. Or they're looking for dragoons just because they want to go for heavy punch and they want the Prussians to do a lot more scouting for them. Either way, they are saving their hussars, use them just for scouting. The French are going to be very cautious because, man, there's definitely going to be a lot of dragoons for Russia on the field. Ooh, it's a nice looking Polish Lancer, the Lancer unit. Can't remember, but I think that may be a Imperial Guard cav unit, which, would lead me to believe maybe there's an Imperial Guard corps on the field today. Let's see if we can see the general. Not in that one. I was just curious if I saw an Imperial Guard general. I feel like it wouldn't be over here either, would it? General looks very cool, though. Reminds me of the Swiss. And you know about me and the Swiss. Let me tell you. I was kidding. But yeah, no, we got Saxons pushing up here. Looks like we got some light infantry. Potentially could be a square-forming infantry unit. But, the Russians aren't really pursuing that too much. Artillery is firing, so obviously there is a defensive line here. Dieux, though, is going to stay put for now. And like I said before, guys, clan battles are well-coordinated fights. So both sides are probably communicating, or were communicating, what the plan was. They may have had a plan pre-game, or they may have just rolled with it and been like, you know what, we're going to adjust to do whatever whenever, we see the enemy and see what they're doing. Because you can see the massive bulk of the Russian army, and there's 3 Russian armies here, is going straight for this area right here. With Prussia kind of rolling up the left side here. Now, Prussia, I think, definitely can support themselves. They have a lot of artillery. They have quite a lot of artillery, but they have heavy cav to defend themselves against the French. They do have line infantry, fusiliers, musketeers, they have units, Grenadiers. They can defend themselves, so they're not you know, hung out high and dry by themselves. And they're obviously probably going to push up and be the left flank for Russia. Now, Russia, I love that they have the guard units. They have the Russian guard here. Although everything's rolling pretty slow. Pretty slow, isn't it? But they do have part of this high ground. Now, this high ground is pretty crucial for holding. If they can take the top of this hill with the tree line, it is a perfect place to be able to set up artillery, especially if you get this little, like, finger of the hill that kind of flanks out. If they push up and they start shooting down on the flank, it goes terribly for the French. But you can see France is definitely... Oh my goodness, they got masses of infantry. Now we do have some French skirms kind of taking a position on the hill. We have howitzers firing, trying to break some of this cavalry guard. Cavalry guard being a very expensive, very elite cav unit. You do not want to waste them. But yeah, no, France definitely is going straight for them. And so you can see that Duktorov is actually shifting a flank over here just to make it that much more difficult for the French. Now we do have the Russians, just some guerrillas, some peasants, basically. You know, they're pouring in some volleys, doing what they can to stop. They may not be a whole lot to stop the French, but it probably will make them pause, I imagine, at least in part. Part of the line may pause, and they are going to form up to fight the Russians, but Russia will be able to get a chance to then push up even more and more troops. You do see he is pushing an entire flank to the left, but Duktorov probably is going to meet him. But oh yeah, look at that. And you see Russia has reserve lines now, so I think they are ready for a fight. But man, France going... I don't know if France is going to try to do some volleys here. Ooh, the howitzers clashing in the back lines. Or not clashing, but crashing into the back lines. But look at this. Yep, we do have light infantry in position in the forest. Beautiful position for these guys. They're going to do so well. The tree line definitely helping, or going to help, protect them from fire. And you see France, I'm assuming France is going to go for some volleys here. But man, they have definitely taken some losses already. But oh, there we go. We have some musketeers, though, forming up as well. And we have Constantin pushing up, maybe trying to probe that left flank. We'll see, because there's another French army definitely pushing up here. You see some cavalry as well. The artillery has not set up yet for the Russians. Just some nice volleys here, as even more French reserves, even the left flank is now starting to engage. We have some Saxon lines. But yeah, the French pushing forward here, pushing up the reserves. You see the Russians, though, in the background, flanking, probably forcing the French right flank to fall back. But this line against Duktorov seems to be something that France is totally okay with taking. And boy, are they getting some nice volleys, both of them are. I like how it just immediately engaged, but it wasn't messy, you know, it just kind of did its thing. I imagine that this French attack is probably going to fall back. They probably are going to fall back, just because Bagration can now push. The French fell back on this side a little bit. Either that or they fell back to reform, and now they're going to fall back. But France definitely has to watch out for this. This whole thing can start shooting, outflank them. I'd pull the skirms back a little bit. But let's not forget, there's another side of this battle now. Nothing's happening on it. But you can still see that Prussia has pushed up their flank artillery, and it does look like they're shifting forward a bit of their reserve line over here, potentially because this is where the real fighting is going to happen. But a very nice, very awesome fight so far. They haven't done anything but fire a couple volleys each, you know? I appreciate it because, you know, I don't have to, like, rush around the battlefield to catch stuff. It's just a line fight, you know? You get some cool, artistic-looking shots. Oh, there's a tree. It doesn't look like France is definitely falling back here, although with Saxony now engaging, we do have Dutorov maybe pushing for a flank. I bet you these guys can form square, though. Or not. Is that a square check? Ooh, are these dragoons? Oh, that dragoon got shot right out of his horse, and then his horse died, too. Yeah, there was some cavalry, too. Definitely was going to counter that Russian cav push. Now this fight, you can see Russia has definitely, they put up quite a fight. And France didn't take super heavy losses. They did have 1 unit break, but I don't think they liked this center fight. And it was very obvious that Russia had the angle on them. If they were going to stay in a line fight for the whole time, Russia was going to win that one. They had way better positioning, way better angles. Russia now has a defensive line. France, if they want to take this fight, they can fall back, they put up some artillery and start smacking the line, or try probing another flank. They do have another French army way over here, but it looks to be pushing into the center as well, maybe because they don't want to fight Prussia. Or maybe because they want to consolidate in one area, you know? We do have Constantine, though, pushing up, maybe going to stop them from, maybe intercept them, regrouping with their allies. We do have artillery set up here. I'm not sure where exactly it is firing. Yeah, but yeah, Constantine, maybe even Hohenlind. No, I'm not even gonna try. I almost made a terrible mistake of trying to pronounce a name that I definitely would not be able to pronounce. The Prussians. I'm going with that. Okay. But we definitely have more engagement along this side. I'm curious what size point, what numerical value the Saxon army is. Like, are they a 7-pointer, a 6, a 8? So that may hurt a little bit, but the guard will hold the flank. And they are definitely out shooting with 2 guard units. They are out shooting on this flank. Wow. Oh, well, that's not something we should look at then. I do hear a cav charge engaging here. Saxon cav going against Russia. Wow, Russia definitely got the worst end of that deal. I think artillery even was helping support. And, yep, Russia, they even have some infantry support. It does not look too good. However, Russia is charging in. Oh, my goodness. Along the entire line, they just charged it against Saxony, and you can see it had some devastating consequences. And Russia now going to push forward their infantry as well, with the cav doing so much damage. This is looking good for Russia so far. They smacked Saxony around. Over here, we do have France advancing up once again. We do have also France falling back against Constantine. I don't know, guys. Saxony looks like they just died. Quite literally died. Wow. Oh, look at this. They're going to charge even more. They do form a square. A bunch of guys lose their seats. But Russian cav just had a field day. They had a freaking field day. They're going for the general as well. So I think France just lost their ally, quite honestly, with just 1 stroke. Now, this was Bagration, guys. This was not even Dutorov. So this was 2 clans joining together. I mean, those dragoons they brought paid off beautifully, I would say. And this is definitely going in favor of Russia already here. Oh, look at this. Russia is engaging with still their cheapest units here. They are wasting French resources. These guys aren't even that expensive, so you know it's a nice thing to have. Now, Saxony's not totally dead, guys. They do still have some cavalry. We do have a Lancer unit charging straight into the dragoons, which is going to probably hurt the dragoons quite a bit. There's still a little bit of Saxon infantry left, but the guards should easily deal with this. You see France actually had to form up reserve line just to stop Ductara from flanking with their ally dying. I'm assuming Saxony was a very small pointer. They were not very big. That's my assumption here, because they didn't have a very big army. Oh my goodness, I missed it! No! We have, Dieux went in against Russia, and Russia is now getting charged here. Lots of Cuirassiers, lots of infantry. Oh my goodness, look at the gorgeousness of this battle. The death and destruction. Bayonet charges going for a guard square. More cav are rushing in to try to flank some more of the Russians who are trying to maybe get a flanking volley. Beautifully done. Oh man, Russia is in trouble. Russia is in huge trouble in the center here. Constantine getting smacked around. Now we do have heavy cav charging in against Prussia as well. Oh my goodness, talk about throwing the scales back. Beautifully done by France. That was well executed. They have almost now, of course, there's still reserves, and Prussia has some reserves as well. But Russia just kind of caved really, really quickly there, and now another French army is making their appearance here on the Prussian left flank. Now, keep in mind, Prussia does have their heavies as well, but they have not thrown them in yet. Oh, we have another charge. Oh, no. Guys, Prussia is feeling the hurt right now. There's so much happening to Prussia. This is just a mess in the center. Now, this flank still engaging. Now, this, like I said, this flank, Saxony has sort of come back. Still a line fight. Obviously, Russia needs to be very cautious here. It looks like France may actually be trying to go get real close with their lines, maybe point-blank volley. Oh, they have Grens. They have Grenadiers in the front lines. Let's not forget this Cavs engagement still going on. Even, oh my goodness, even more and more infantry just getting charged. Now, we do have a Cuirassier countercharge here. Gonna go and smack against some Cuirassiers, maybe hit some infantry too. Prussia is dealing out some damage with what's left of their line. But still, France has definitely caved a big hole in the coalition center line. And you can see, man, France is pushing forward. Russia's in a bit of a conundrum here. This is not going to do too good. Now we do have Cuirassiers charging in once again, getting another flank on the Prussian Cuirassiers. Oh my gosh. This line, guys, this fight is just vicious. A vicious, vicious fight. I'm loving it. I'm loving every second. We do have more reserves now shifting over. They're now maybe going to push and counterattack in the center. At least I hope they are. That would be an amazing thing to see. We do have some French infantry engaging the Russians. Yeah, just little pocket fights here. Prussia reforming their lines here. Their Cuirassiers did break. They're going to try to reform on the left as France starts pushing here. Now getting a zoomed out view here. Oh no, never mind. We do have Russia charging in with some cavalry, maybe trying to go for a general. I'm not sure, going for some more cavalry units.
Our men are running for.
But you do see that actually Russia, so they have actually pushed this flank out, and they actually are forcing back the French as they try pushing the center. Russia kind of sticks out on this the finger of this hill. Kind of rolls back this way, and they're starting to force the French to have to turn instead of facing the Prussians. So, you know, well executed. Prussia still has cavalry left. They still have infantry left. So as disastrous as that first initial attack against, I believe it was Constantine was, it's doing okay. Now more cavalry charging in against Constantine. He's going to have to fall back more and more infantry. We do have a bayonet charge going against the artillery. Oh, they pulled a sneaky one on Russia. Like I said, though, Saxony is still fighting here. They have artillery left and they have some infantry left, which means Dutorov still has a bit of a fight, and he doesn't really have cavalry, and Saxony does. So Saxony's kind of made a comeback. The one thing I see, I'm not sure if there's a French army right here, but this whole army's just kind of sitting here. I'm not sure if the French, they look like they're actually peeling this army away, so maybe Dutorov should push up and start attacking here. Either finish off Saxony or start pushing this flank, you know, start pushing up here and start trying to shred up this side. We still have a bit of melee happening here. France went for the guns, and now Prussian hussars are trying to break them here. Prussia also is holding. They have taken some pretty heavy losses. They got kind of caught in that charge against the Russian center. They have more artillery shifting over. Constantine is maybe... Yeah, his men are exhausted, so he's going to rest up his forces, let Prussia maybe take this fight. France can't just push anymore, guys. They probably spent a lot of energy. Their forces are probably exhausted, too. Now, there is a reinforcing French army that's pushing up, so maybe, you know, maybe that's going to help them out just a little bit here. Bagration's looking pretty good. He has plenty of reserves and plenty of lines. Now, I think he did lose his artillery, but still. And over here, Bagration doing well. Dutorov is finally pushing up here, and that's just because it's very obvious that France has shifted things away. I mean, look at this. That is all shifted away from this line. Oh, that's beautiful. Look at that. There's still some heavy cav, but it does look like France is actually falling back. Just mainly because Prussia seems to have recovered quite well. They do have units that are exhausted. They probably routed but came back. He has some fresh units though, and they are actually pushing forward. He is kept. Notice how Prussia has kept his Cuirassiers nice and rested, just not really engaging the French as much as defending their own lines. It's worked beautifully. We do have Les Dieux. Can they pour in a volley and then form a square? Yes, they do. Oh, Les Dieux went for the wrong unit. These are not the Russians he wanted to go for. Oh, beautiful volleys. My goodness. That is not going to go well. Man, France actually just... This is a Ney moment here. I really feel like this is a Ney moment. He just ran his cav in without infantry support, and it seems to be dying. Actually, oh, never mind. Actually, there's infantry support here, but we do have a beta charged by some Grenadiers. Oh, beautifully done. That would have been a devastating volley against the square, but these Grenadiers, give them a medal. They just saved this line, at least for the moment. Charging forward. Oh, my goodness. That was beautifully done. More cav, though, charging for the guns. These brave Grenadiers holding the line. However, the cavalry does get that artillery piece. But you can see France is actually... I mean, the Grenadiers are probably going to break. I'd pull the square back. Dutorov, though, pushing ever with steady pressure here. And he starts to bayonet charge to the French flank. What a mess of a battle. Beautiful. But, however, I will say, these Grenadiers saved the line. These 4 units, obviously, man, they got stopped. That could have been a huge push. I'm going to say Grenadiers MVP, saving the center. Because these 4 units got stopped. All 4 of them got engaged by 1 Grenadier unit. I swear I need to do Life of a Soldier for those Grens. The Moskva, I believe. Now, Dutorov is pretty healthy still, and they're rolling. So I'm definitely going to say this is looking to be a Russian-Prussian victory. Which, it's unfortunate for the coalition. Oh, see, now Prussia's given France a taste of their own medicine. Oh, yeah. Oh, no. The Swiss skirmishers need to run for it. Go back to Switzerland, Swiss. Be safe. I know we do have French kind of creeping on the back of these Cuirassiers, trying to charge in, maybe break them, at least get some damage. They're going to run into a lot of troops here. Oh, there's our Lancers. These are what are they called? Immortals? Not totally sure here, but France may be actually pushing forward. Infantry, we'll see. Things are not looking too good for them anymore, guys. Even the center line, which talk about a bloody stand. Russia has held this hill this entire time. Who would have thought this would actually be the site of so much bloodshed? Now, obviously, Russia never, like France barely made it to the top of this hill. You can see they have a couple units up here, but for the most part, they never made it. This is like a bunker hill for the Napoleonic Wars. Like, France came up the hill, and then they got pushed back, and they came up again, and they got pushed back. And I doubt they're coming back from that. And now it is Bagration's turn to attack. At least I'm assuming so. With this fight going pretty well for the coalition over here. Even Constantine probably is rested up. I mean, his men are exhausted, actually. Prussia can outshoot the French here. And even with the Cav reserves, I don't know. Cuirassiers may be getting ordered forward once again. Oh, they're going in. Will they get shot in the face or will they make it? Oh, they made it. However, they did get somewhat shot, but you can see, oh my goodness, they went full bayonet. Oh my goodness, they got repelled. That was the last ditch effort. That was literally the last thing that France could do, and they did try. Unfortunately, this Prussian line was able to shoot way better than they were able to run. And that ended up just being a disaster for the French. So yeah, now it's just, you know, you can start to see the groupings of the French, like, you know, army here, army here, army here. Maybe two armies here. Still, France looks to maybe try and make a vicious defense here. But Russia's probably going to shell the house. They already are, yep. And they're probably going to try to outshoot the French, who they outnumber 2-1 almost now. Oh man, Cav in the back line. Saxony definitely not wanting to, Ooh, they broke. This guard really helped for Duktarov. Still beautiful though, you know? I don't know, this map's always had some most cinematic. I have some amazing art that I made from, you know, these replays. And look at that. It's just so amazing looking. And the fact that my computer's actually running all the models, I'm shocked. Yeah, it looks like Russia's just running down a couple of the French units that are left. Prussia's is going to push on this left flank. I mean, there's not a lot really to narrate here. This is usually in the part where I can kind of relax and be like, okay, it's pretty obvious where the fighting's happening and nothing big is probably going to happen. Although, what do we got here? It kind of looks like, you know, you're from an officer's perspective. Ooh, canister hitting those musketeers. They're gonna line up and probably get some volleys off, but France to have much left. Russia even going in for the building. This is a cool position, actually. This is kind of like a general up on top of the hill looking at the battle from a safe distance. You know, sending his men. I mean, you're like way up here. Saxony barely holding this line. Like I said, Prussia's gonna push. Oh, you can barely see him through the smoke. Ooh, there's the French. Speaking of generals, honestly, from his perspective, he wouldn't be able to see much at all. So. And now we could get a view of the close, last desperate defense, the last stand. The beginning of the end. As Russia is going to take this house and then push out. France has 1 or 2 troops left, but, you know, they're falling back to the ally, which is bringing Prussia closer to the rest of his army. Saxony, surprisingly, is still here, guys. Like, they never really actually got totally destroyed. Good for them, you know? I'm happy that no one got just totally wiped. Everybody was, you know, good enough to be able to save part of their army. Like, you know, there's some things you can't do. I mean, sometimes the enemy just has a better strategy than you. You overextend yourself, something happens. You know, life happens. But here we go. This is it. Russia going with the cav against the artillery. Saxony is probably going to be next. They're going to start focusing down. Ooh, they're going to get a volley, though, on these Cuirassiers.
This building has fallen to the enemy.
Yeah, the French still falling back. I think they're actually starting to go for LOCs because, like I said, a clan battle, you know, LOC does count. So, I mean, there's so much time left, though, that I think the French may not even be able to do an LOC. I mean, they're not going to be able to hold back. And look at the bayonet charges or cav charges going in. France forms some squares. They have some cav of their own. But the general now getting attacked.
Now they must break.
And the general is dead. Is this him? Oh my goodness, they all died at once. I think that's him. And that goes, there it goes, guys. There's the battle. Everybody's died. I'm just going to fast forward here. There looks like to be a slight defense of some units that have, like, the redlining morale. These guys are going to take one shot and run. If even that. Like, they're probably going to break so fast. Friends are routing. Yeah, there goes the mass rout. Let's see if there's anything left. Now, there is an LOC, which they are fighting for. There's a unit way back here. I'm assuming it may be trying to go for LOC, although I kind of doubt. Like I said, there's so much time left. There's so many LOCs right here that the coalition has. It is going to be over. So let me just keep fast forwarding here. This 1 or 2 more units. Like I said, there's a small Saxon resistance. Actually, Saxony is the last one left with a French unit. They are the ones defending themselves to the last. That is surprising considering they got hit really hard. They got focused down by Bagration's cavalry. Oh, it was bad. They got focused down It was a beautiful dragoon charge, or 2 dragoon charges actually against Russia, or against Saxony, and they worked very well. So, you know, props to both sides. They both played well. Definitely the Russians brought the right units to be able to, you know, make a decisive win. You can see here the kills. Who is this? Let me see the general. Where's the general? I think, is this Prussia? This is Prussia. And you see, they got some good kills to their hussars and their infantry. I mean, they definitely took some losses as well, but not terrible losses. Let me pull up those results here so you guys can see. Yeah, so definitely going to be a victory for... And I apologize, I had them mixed up. The Rhinebund was playing France. RC was playing the coalition. But you can see here, Bring Back Militia, as one of the Russians was 1793. T.T. Ross as Prussia was 1720. You have Leb with 598 and Jackal with 987. On the other side, Nate with 1589, Philippe 426, Lotus with 1049, and Gord with 659. So, you know, pretty close battle, I'd say. Well, I should say it was in the middle. That crosshair charge against Russia really, I thought was going to tip the scales for Saxony dying. And then, I mean, man, Prussia did a good job of countercharging with their heavy cav, and I think that's what saved them. Being defensive with heavy cav does count, especially if you're bringing Prussia, you bring heavy cav and use it to defend yourself. But yeah. Alright, guys, that'll be it for me today. Thank y'all so much for joining me. I hope you guys enjoyed. If you are not subscribed and you would like to support my channel, well, I can't do anything but thank you. Yeah. You guys have a great rest of your day. Stay safe. And as always, I'll catch you all in another video.